Hello everybody and welcome back. Root Beer here with question number 15 on the 2004 Fermat paper. That's the grade 11 multiple choice competition. Question 15, they get right into it. The graph of x squared minus y squared equals 0 is... Okay. So our instincts might tell us that if we read this question too quickly, x squared and a y squared, we might suggest a circle. Okay? So maybe we try and remember, well, what does the formula for a circle look like? And a circle centered at 0 looks a little like this. So while we would have a square on the one side, we'd have a radius of 0, and that wouldn't be a very good circle. But more than that, we have a plus for our circle formula, whereas they're asking with a minus. So we might stop and think about it, and we might hem and haw, and okay. If we remember, and it was grade 10 when I did this. I don't know where it is in the curriculum now. I imagine it's still grade 10 around parabolas. We might know that this actually sort of should represent a hyperbola. So if we might just talk briefly for a moment about conic sections, you tend to have this being a circle, and you tend to have something like this be an ellipse, just sort of a squished circle, and then you often get something like this is what's called a hyperbola. And it usually looks like this. Okay, so this sort of the closest thing. Now, they don't actually have hyperbola listed as one of the answers. They have parabola, but parabolas, for the most part, look like y equals something in terms of x squared. Really, just any old quadratic equation. We don't have y equals something in terms of x squared. We've got x squareds and y squareds involved. So circles out, parabolas out. Now, straight line, single point, and two straight lines, that's a little more interesting. And to actually solve this one, we're going to have to rearrange. So we'll flip over to the next page. We're done sort of talking about conics. But what I'm going to do is I'm just actually going to mess around with this, rearrange, and say x squared is equal to y squared. Now, some people might square root both sides. And they might say then x equals y, and oh, look at that, that's a straight line there. But you can't just square root both sides. What you have to do is you get plus minus y. Okay? Because what could I do? I could plug 2 in here. 2 squared is 4, and y equals 2 would work. 2 squared is also equal to 4, but so would minus 2. So x is plus minus y, or really we could say y is plus or minus x. And when you get to this stage, well then either y is equal to x or y is equal to minus x. And this is 2 lines. And I believe that was their answer E. Yeah, 2 straight lines. It's going to look like that. Okay, I'm actually just going to go over them again in red just to highlight what actually is the line. Okay, it's the lines y equals negative x and y equals x together. And you can sort of see this does resemble the hyperbola that we had, because hyperbolas tend to look like this. This is just sort of the extreme form of a hyperbola, where the lines, where the two halves actually touch, and they go straight out. They don't curve. They just go straight. And I believe, if I remember my conic sections correctly, this is called a degenerate hyperbola. And it's something, if you haven't seen hyperbolas, I don't even know if it's still in the curriculum, or maybe it's not in the curriculum in whatever country you're watching. But I would suggest looking up conic sections, hyperbolas, parabolas, ellipses. They don't come up a whole lot in contests. I can't remember the last time I saw a hyperbola on a contest. But they are interesting to know, and they're a nice little sort of self-contained unit of studying curves where your equations have at most an x squared and a y squared. So they're nifty to sort of learn and understand on your own as a little separate project. But we're not going to dwell on it anymore. We've got more contests to do. I'm eager to see more of this format. And we'll be doing question number 16 next, so stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys in the next video.